The courthouse burned down in 1910, so houses that were older than that just got the 1910 label. We believe this house was built in the 1880s, and you'll see a little bit later why we think that. We bought this house in early 2019 for $250,000. My plan was to put about $100,000 into it and finish in 6 months. It was in rough shape. The joists in the living room had separated from the rim board, so we had a floating floor, kind of like a diving board. There were cracks in the walls. The bathroom was leaky and holey and malodorous. The kitchen was falling apart and it was cramped, necessitating an addition and full remodel. The first floor bedroom and stairs were also claustrophobic, and the old horsehair plaster was crumbling. A small and scary basement had been dug out at some point, but the retaining walls were falling apart. The exterior siding was in decent shape, but there was work to be done. The roof was one of the few things we wouldn't need to touch.
Wonder why the foundation's compromised here.
We bought it from an old-timer, Doty, who was in his 80s, and he had grown up in this house. I find a lot of beauty in decay. It tells a lot of stories, but there's also a lot of potential to make new stories. It's a frosty morn, and we are getting ready to start this new project. Here comes Mike.
We're doing some dowsing.
After the house tested negative for asbestos, we started the demo in earnest. Was Homer Simpson the original builder of this house? Some of the old studs seemed to be held up by nothing more than moral support. We added some structural support to that. Our floor is a lot less bouncy now. In the kitchen, we planned to blow out a couple walls and add an addition to an existing slab. To make the stairs feel less narrow, we opened one wall, and to make the upstairs bedrooms more livable, we decided we needed to add a bathroom. Meanwhile, we had to shore up the structure underneath the house, so I dug out a little path in the crawl space, and we spent a couple days playing in the dirt. The kitchen floor dropped about 4 inches over 6 feet. So using my experience from the big dig, we set about shoring up all the walls and adding some structural beams to the small basement. Meanwhile, work continued on the upstairs bathroom and further demo work.
Here's Johnny.
The mice had enjoyed quite a fine setup in this house. We ran new mechanical and plumbing and electric throughout. It's reminiscent of a Marcel Duchamp installation. To create a little more headroom in the stairwell, I dropped the landing and added a step to the left. I think people were more Lilliputian in the 19th century. The old first floor bedroom, which would become the dining room, had a vaulted ceiling, so we decided to expose that. At some point we realized that the kitchen was actually an addition, and when we exposed the walls there was newspaper insulation that indicated it was actually built in 1888, which means the original house was built sometime before that. In April, work continued on the downstairs bathroom and converting part of the old kitchen to a laundry. We insulated the hell out of everything, and you don't want to get this stuff on your skin.
Easier to shave.
In May, we vacated to let the drywallers do their thing, and I worked on another rental project. A little hiccup kept us out through June, but then we were back at it in July and ready to do the addition. We got these beautiful old glass block windows from my buddy Nels at Dryland Distillers, who had salvaged them from the old Denver Post building, and we placed them in various spots throughout the house. In the wall of the addition, we had included structural support for the future deck. Finally, something I'm decent at. It was time to paint the exterior. And we were ready to add the French doors.
Don't want to fuck it up?
We salvaged some of the old doors and found some others at Restore, and cleaned 100 or so years worth of paint off of a lot of the beautiful old hardware. We began to work on the 1920s barn. The cabinets were new cabinets purchased from Restore through a vocational training program for prisoners. For my 125-year-old house remodel project, see above, many people had strong visceral reactions to all the concrete work I did in the bathrooms. I toned it down for this project, but couldn't resist doing a concrete shower pan. We refurbished the steps with oak treads and a metal railing and made this a centerpiece of the house. Built-ins made the closets more functional, and we even put a secret compartment in one of those. We salvaged the 1940s stainless steel counter by angle grinding off decades of grime, then orbital sanding with finer and finer grit. We hired pros to do the tile and floors. I repurposed a child's armoire to make the upstairs vanity base, while Mike took the lead on the Murphy door, or hidden door. Outside, we got ready for landscaping and fencing. And continued with the painting. At some point, some relatives of Doty's came by and took a look at the progress. They dubbed this the Miracle House, as they had assumed we would scrape the whole thing. This is another way of telecommuting to work. I brought in the reinforcements for interior painting. Many of our lighting fixtures were also from Restore. We had soapstone counters installed. We had to replace about 20 feet of the old clay sewer pipe. It was finally time for the pièce de résistance, the grand rooftop deck.
As long as you look pretty.
We got the place rented to a great tenant, Heather, in mid-December, so it was crunch time to get the interior done.
I like it.
Heather was fine with us continuing to work on the barn and landscaping after she moved in. I love the look of the old barn sheathing, so we just battened that, added a couple windows, and a new door. Even with the original Homer Simpson building technique, this house managed to stay standing for 140 years. Hopefully now it'll stick around for a couple hundred more. It's still pretty scary down here, but the house is now worth well over $500,000. So in addition to being able to pay myself for my labor, we will have made a decent profit. We do a lot of other fun videos, so check out our channel, Papa's Cottage, and subscribe. And if you like this video, hit the like button. Interestingly, I spent a lot of time wearing a mask in 2019. Little did I know it was preparing me for 2020.
Bet Dairy Queen's gonna get a lot of business today.